They are making a difference on 938 Live.
You might have seen some of the posters around the MRTs and bus stands promoting the best of you and thought, well, that's different. It's a social movement led by a familiar biscuit brand, Julie's. Say Zhi Hong is the consultant for Julie's The Best of You campaign and is also the younger son of the biscuit brand's owner. I speak to Zhi Hong about the campaign and where it's all coming from.
The movement is about really taking time out of your busy lives to take stock of your accomplishments and to appreciate the accomplishments of other people as well. It's an interesting movement in the sense that it's really not asking you to do that much. It is asking you to actually take a break and just to realize what you've done well in your life and to give yourself a pat on the back. And if you want to push it a little bit further, it's to also share a story with us as well.
So how do you think you're changing the business with this movement, the business of Julie's?
It has allowed us to understand ourselves better as an organization. The Best of You idea really came from observations about the cooperation and the corporate culture within Julie's. That is, that everyone tries to pitch in the best in everything they do. And once we've expressed this out to everyone, including our internal members, we've come to appreciate the work that we do in the company much better, and we are more, I think we end up being more collegial with each other. What that has done is also to actually bring us to closer discussions with each other within the company.
And exactly what's your background, Zhi Hong, that you're pushing this forward?
My background is in educational psychology, but more than that, I think a lot of times it comes from my understanding of social theory and social phenomenon. And where this is all coming from, it really is coming from realizing that there's not much space in society where we can actually take time out to appreciate the things that people do for us in a very intentional and clear, I think, fashion. So what we're trying to do here is to provide, a space for society to just take some time out and just to think about this question, who is the best of you?
Obviously, this is quite a new initiative for Julie's. When you were pushing for this movement to happen within and for Julie's brand, was there any difficulty? Did you face any difficulties or challenges along the way?
I think the greatest difficulty was that we felt that people might not understand this question clearly once we've asked this question. And that was the greatest challenge. So there was a little bit of disagreement amongst ourselves as to whether this was too bold a move. But once we started this movement and we got feedback from it, it came very clearly that people understood this question very clearly. They understood the movement very quickly as well. And when we received our submissions, the stories that were submitted into the movement, people got it. And they really liked it. And it's mostly, the feedback was that a lot of times they didn't ask themselves this question. So that was definitely something that, we overcame.
Were you also very conscious of being able to leverage on a brand that is so well known and so well loved in this country?
Yes, and it's interesting you asked this question because that's exactly why we felt that we could actually do something like this. You would notice that in the movement we did not want to have anything to do, but rather it wasn't a showcase of our products. Rather, it's a showcase of the spirit that we want to share and the spirit that we know that exists outside our company as well. And which is just, the stories that represent the best of people.
What would be the most fulfilling thing for you to come out of this movement?
I think the most fulfilling thing would be to actually embark on a storytelling, bonanza. When we received the stories, what really touched us was just the level of detail and how heartfelt these stories were. And it actually showed that people took a lot of time and dedication to think about the deepest moments and deepest parts of their life to express these stories out. I think one of the other most fulfilling part of it was that within our internal organization, within Julie's themselves, we come to understand each other within the company better through these stories.
You are the second generation of this brand. And what else do you think second generations within Singapore brands can actually do different from the pioneers?
I think what we can do is to move from a product focus or a service focus to, more behind the scenes focus. We are quite clear at Julie's that what makes us successful or what makes the products successful isn't really the products themselves. I mean, of course it is, but I think what's more important is that the people behind the scenes, and it's how we come together as a people to work together closely that solicits this success. So I think one of the things that I wish we could do more of is to actually talk about the behind the scenes, that cooperation exceeds the product, the cooperation exceeds the services that you produce.
And that was Sei Hong. He is the consultant for Julie's The Best of You campaign. The campaign will culminate in the Best of You exhibition, which is happening from the 22nd to the 26th of October at Marina Square. This has been They Are Making a Difference. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Daphne Lim.
They are making a difference on 938 Live.